Alright, this is Patrick with DoItMyselfGarage. I've got the Ring doorbell on here. I've got the cover off because I'm having to recharge it all the time. And I did have a doorbell on this side. So rather than having to charge this thing all the time, I wanted to hook it up to this. Slight problem though, that doorbell doesn't work. There's no power to that wire, so I'm having to rerun wires. Let me show you what I had to do on the inside. So I had to pull the trim off, but that exposed that entire area there where the wire was running, and then that runs downstairs. So I'm just going to run a new wire, and I have a transformer that will work to power this. It says 16 to 24 for the Ring doorbells, and so many amps. I have one that's 40 amp. That says minimum of 30, so it is AC. So yeah, I just drilled a hole in the floor down there under where the trim would be. There's plenty of room. I created this little mount because I didn't have a good spot to mount it out here. Like I say, I'm just going to flip that around and put it over on this side, and then I'll have power to it. Alright, so here's where it comes out for the doorbell. One of the reasons I had the extension on here, if you have your doorbell back too far, when the infrared turns on, it'll create a glow at night and you won't be able to see anything. So you don't want it in so far that when the infrared turns on that it gets reflection off of surfaces. So hopefully this will be good right here. I don't think the field of view goes quite that far. So I'm just going to screw it to the wall right there. And that gives me, the way the front of my house is, it's kind of at an angle here. That'll give me a plenty of good view to this. This wire will be kind of hidden behind here. I'll get that hooked up, and then we'll have power to this thing all the time. Not going to do it yet because I have to hook up these screws for the power, but what I want to do first, I want to check my continuity. So I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to hook both ends of the wire together in the basement, and then I'm going to check continuity to make sure that I actually have a good connection, because I don't want to do all this, put the trim back on, and then find out I don't have power. Okay, so hopefully you won't have to deal with half the problems I have, but this wire is actually bad. It is a solid core wire, not a stranded. So I have another piece of wire that I did test that's good. I'm going to pull him through now instead. Okay, now that I know I have a good wire run, let me go grab my Phillips. Screwdriver was in my back pocket the whole time. Okay, so we want some good leads here. Straighten these out, or I could make new ones. I just made these, and the only reason they're twisted is because I was twisting them together to test the lines. And it's AC, so there is no polarity. There is no third wire here. It's just a low voltage AC. So you just gotta take and that's why I brought the needle nose up in the first place. You want to bend these around that little post, get them under the screws. Obviously I do not have power to these yet. I have not hooked up the other end. And I left myself plenty of wire outside here to play with, so you can always tuck it inside the wall a little bit. Don't cut your leads too short. You'll wish you had more later. There we go. Tuck it in, and then I'm just going to run the screws into the wall right there. And it'll only have 2 screws in it, but that'll be fine. Run this other screw in here. Sorry, big fat head in the way. And that one, and there we go. And this bracket can be bent just a little bit. It's aluminum, is all I use. So there we go. Nice solid mount. let's go downstairs and I'll get the power hooked up to it. Not much to see there, but I'll show you. And then we'll be ready to put the battery back in it, put it in, and then it should stay charged by itself and not keep giving me a low battery warning because I go too long before in between charging. You will have a transformer. Might not be this big or ugly, but you will have a transformer. This was the one for my an old security system, and it's 16.5 volts with the proper current, so that should work just fine. Gonna do the same thing here. I've got some little terminals on the back. The same thing here, and make a bend in the wire. So it'll go around the screw. So I always like to do it if you're, when you're turning clockwise, that the wire, the loop is going that same way also. So it doesn't have a tendency to flare it out. It's always worked good for me. Okay, so make sure you get a good connection. Okay, nice and snug. We're good to go. The way this one is set up, there was a separate outlet down here for this. Alright, so this outlet up here, the center screw, is actually used to hold the transformer in. And then it has a power switch right here. So, all right, let's go upstairs and see if our unit's working. All right, so it's been a couple of days. Had some crazy things happen. So my other transformer stopped working right away. I double checked my wires, make sure I didn't have a short. So I ordered a new transformer, a little bit higher voltage, and I'll leave a link to this one. This is 24 volts instead of 16 volts like the other one was. So this one's all hooked up, and it appears to be working. Well, I'm going to go into the app right now, and I'll show you how to tell if it's working or not. But I tried to do this yesterday and film this, but the Ring network was down. So I couldn't get into it. I thought I had done something wrong again, but everything's fine. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like in the app once it's charging. I just hooked it up now, so my battery was at, I believe, 80-some%. And battery level says 90%. So on the device health page, there's a thing that says how it's charging and whatnot. And it says right here, it says it's hardwired now. It took a little while for it to do that. I actually took the battery out and put it back in. I don't know if that was really necessary. It took another 5 to 10 minutes after that before it registered as hardwired. So in any case, it is working. The battery is maintaining at 89% right now. Hopefully it will actually charge at some point. But other than that, I've got a power supply now, and I don't have to worry about, hopefully don't have to worry about charging my Ring doorbell. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Send me comments, questions if you have any about this, but it's a fairly simple thing to do. The hardest part is going to be finding where to tie in the power. I ended up running just a new line because my doorbell there was a whole bunch of lines and stuff there, so I thought it best to run a new wire. In case anybody's wondering why I had to drill a new hole, because that wire actually used to go over the top of the door to the other side. So I ended up doing a whole new wire. That's why I drilled a hole in the floor. There wasn't one there already. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. I have other videos on home stuff and work on my GTO. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.